Hello and welcome to another episode of Evening Crypto with your boy, your host, The Real Shot 256. Today is September 27th. It is about 6:50 in the evening over here in the west coast of the United States. This is the weekend edition of Evening Crypto, and tonight I just want to give a quick recap and a quick update on what we've seen so far this week in the charts, Bitcoin, alts. We'll go through obviously Bitcoin as we usually do, and then we'll talk about some alts as we did see sort of a bounce earlier today, this Friday. We did see a few alts trying to bounce up and above these lower levels. But overall, what is to be expected? We'll talk about that. I'll address that question, and then I also want to talk about this initially. Let's talk about this Forbes article that just came out today. Now, traditionally, Forbes is not in a really an authority or anyone that you would would be considered that would be like the to go place for technical analysis and in even traditional markets. So they're more of analysts, financial analysts than anything else. But they're here they are trying to take a stab at it and kind of give people their thinking, their reasons for why Bitcoin had a massive drop in the last week, as we did see the price of Bitcoin tick below that huge, this huge wedge here, and actually break down from it. So they try to give their 2 cents on what that was, what the cause was to that, and we'll get into that. We'll kind of dissect what they're saying here, and we like to do that here on this channel, kind of go over some of the things that are being said in the crypto sphere, and address the things that are right and address the things that aren't so right. So we'll get into that here. It is overall though it is an okay article. I'll post the link down below as usual so you guys can take a look and read if you guys want to. Let's start off with recapping the current state of the crypto sphere, the crypto market. According to Coin Market Cap, we're sitting at $218 billion. 24-hour volume, trading volume is sitting at 57, just over 57 billion, and BTC dominance has fallen to 67.8. So the market cap has fallen from about 267, 268 a few days or last week actually. So I mean it's a significant move to the downside. So definitely a lot of this volume here was selling volume again. Continuation of more sellers coming into the market. Although we did have a nice bounce today from these lower areas, it was to be expected. If you did watch my last channel, I told you, we were going to come back and retest the 377 as we did on the daily chart. We'll get into that here in just a moment. But that move actually ended up playing out, and we are now retesting this top area of resistance. We'll get into that here in just a moment. So let's get into this Forbes article here. I won't read the whole thing, but I do want to give you guys sort of a summary here. So we'll start off here. In general, the crypto market lacks support and are trending downwards, some of the potential factors that have led to the current situation are the sudden drop in hash rates, questionable, which tests the confidence of investors in the underlying technology, as it can be seen on the chart below. The hash rate of the Bitcoin network saw a significant plunge on the 24th of September. We do see here the chart. We do see here that the price or the hash rate did drop. I mean, was it significant as they're saying? I mean, it's debatable. I wouldn't call this a big plunge as they are calling it themselves there. I definitely, there was a correction. Now, remember, these hash rates are recalculated every 2 weeks. Now, because of the volatility, sometimes miners can, maybe stop being profitable with their machines, so they have to turn them off, and that momentarily, while the price adjusts and while they figure out, can we still be profitable at these hash rates. So we naturally, some machines and some miners are going to turn their machines off again, to adjust for the volatility and adjust for the hashing rate. And we do see that that is reflected here on this particular chart. But then again, these miners can definitely turn their machines back on once they figure out, okay, it is profitable. It's still a profitable zone. We're not going maybe further down in this dip. And so they turn their machines back on, and then the hash rate does adjust back up again. So, and we actually, I mean, we did see a dip right in the hash rate, but then we immediately bounced back and went back to all-time high hash rates. So the thing is, if this was right and people lost confidence in the underlying technology and therefore decided to sell the underlying asset, which is Bitcoin, then at that point, yeah, right, that makes sense. But then there was a hike to all-time highs, but we don't see the price of Bitcoin reflecting that, right? Okay, so um, again, this is the sort of thing that I like to address because there's just a lot of misinformation out there, and for somebody who's new to this channel, can easily grab onto something like this and take it for a fact. And there should be more analysis that goes into this, and it's just unfortunate that Forbes didn't do enough diligence there. So just to continue here, in addition, the launch of Bakkt futures platform couldn't meet the high expectations of the market, which may have played a part in the recent correction of Bitcoin's price. The 24-hour volume after the launch of Bakkt futures exchange was only 71 BTC, as opposed to the 5.298 BTC for CME, which equals to 75 times less trading volume. All right, so what we see here is the fact that a lot of people, not just Forbes, this is being heard all around the crypto sphere, where they are blaming Bakkt for the plunge and this correction. Two things here. One, it doesn't get any more complicated than the chart itself, and this big formation, which they are calling, right, this formation here coming to an end, hitting the apex and then resolving to the downside in this case. And I mean, that's just a repetitive cycle that happens in every market, right? Traditional markets and cryptocurrency markets is not the exception, right? This is traditionally what you can expect from such formation in any sort of trading atmosphere. So then the other thing is, they mention this here, right? They're ignorant to their own philosophy here. They're claiming that the Bakkt platform had something to do with this here, right? This dip. So we know that there is a lack of volume, right? Number one, there's a lack of volume. So the amount of volume total in Bakkt is not sufficient to cause a 40 billion drain in the overall cryptocurrency markets. It's just not enough. I mean, how do you equate 71 BTC in 24 hours as something that would plunge the market, right? It just doesn't add up, right? Number two, the Bakkt platform is a futures exchange platform, such as many other platforms that are out there. Their main purpose is to facilitate the trading of these futures contracts. They're not trading themselves, right? So they couldn't care less if the price goes up or the price goes down, as long as people are trading those future contracts on their platform. That's really what they care. That's really what they're pushing for. They just want the volume, the trading volume, because they collect fees on that. And if you're wrong, if you get caught on the wrong side of that trade, then they collect on that too. So they don't really have a say or even an inclination as to whether the market goes up or down, because they're going to make money regardless. That is the business of an exchange. So again, you're hearing this in throughout the crypto sphere, on Facebook groups, on crypto Twitter, on you name it. It's out there. I mean, Jesus, I think I was bombarded with that since the price of Bitcoin corrected this week. And so, just make sure you do your own research, your own due diligence, and don't just take my word for it. Go out there and research this stuff for yourself, right? And come to your own conclusion. If there's anything that I missed within this conversation here, go ahead and leave it down in the comments within the video. Again, I keep reminding you guys, please, 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 I beg you guys, leave it down in the comments of YouTube, the YouTube video, not on Facebook, not on crypto Twitter, or wherever you clicked on this link. Please leave it down here with the comments in YouTube. All right, guys. So let's get into the charts. And we do see we're starting off with the daily chart, right? Daily is looking pretty weak. We did recently get a rejection off of this 21, and then that's when we saw the dip coming in, and then right now we actually just ticked into the bearish territory, bearish control zone, which is pretty scary. Now there's a little bit of bearish divergence in the fact that we did get into the bear control zone, but then the price bounced, right? There's a little bit of bearish divergence there. It's not good. So it's a bit of a warning sign for me, right? Because the RSI is saying we're going lower, and the price is saying no, not just yet. We actually had a bounce here, right? We just got a close of this daily candle here exactly 2 hours ago, and ever since we've moved slightly to the downside. But this move is already telling us prior to this close of the candle that we are in the bearish control zone. And this green exponential here is definitely dipping more than just a toe or two into the bearish control zone. So that leads me to believe that there could be, just a slight bit of bearish divergence. If not, maybe we're just building upon that. And we just have to wait another day or so to see if it actually plays out, or maybe we get a correction in the RSI to the upside if we do see continuation to the upside here, which I would like to see. I would definitely like to see. And just to also pick up where we left off last time on the last video, did tell you guys we were up. I think we were up here. We were going to come back and retest the 377 prior to actually retesting the 200 EMA here. And we did just that. Now we are waiting for a natural bounce within this formation. We haven't found really a decisive indicator that we are going to come back and retest. But technically speaking, after such a fall, what is to be expected is a bounce following such an event, right? So I did enter some buy orders here down into this lower area here around 7,900 and into the 7,800 range. And we are seeing somewhat of a bounce, but I do want to see continuation of this. Again, I'm hoping to maybe find that this actually corrects here in the next day. Otherwise, that's going to maybe pan out as bearish divergence. And that would certainly could be, because again, this is the daily, that certainly could be that we break down below the 377 and immediately revisiting lower 8,000 to high 7,000s. All right. So keep your eyes open for that. That is certainly in the cards right now. I am holding a little bit of risk here because, again, I told you guys that there's opportunity for scalps from the time that we saw this dip and started bouncing off the 377 here. There's opportunity for some scalps, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I did enter there, and I'm hoping for a continuation of this bounce. Now, I do have some areas where I'm going to be taking profit starting at around 83.50. 83.50, 84.50, 85.50, and 86.50, right? Up until the 200 EMA here on the daily. I don't know if we're going to quite come back here, as we do see CoinMarketCap is letting us know that the market cap is actually dwindling down closer to the 200 flat range, and that would not be a good thing also. So another thing to keep your eyes on as we do go on in the next days or two. Now we are going to get a monthly close. If you've been following this channel, I did a analysis on the monthly chart. We actually have to go to our Bitstamp Let's see. Nope, that's not it. Let's go to our Bitstamp chart. Is that it? Yep, this is it. So I did a analysis on the monthly chart to show you guys what typically happens once we get above this 21 EMA here. And then last month, before the closure of August, we actually were still kind of trying to make a decision as to whether we were going to hold the 21 here or actually dip down below. Now, if we take a look here, we actually did start a retracement and a puncture of this 21 EMA on the stochastic RSI. So that does not look good, right? And we do see it here. There's no bearish or bullish or bearish divergence. We do see that this is actually in convergence with what we see in the price action according to the RSI. We do see that this the RSI is trying to dip down below the 21 here, which would be very much detrimental to this bullish momentum here since the beginning of the year. It would be very, very detrimental. And again, that would mean that we definitely come back and retest these lower areas at the 21 here, certainly. But to be honest, there's no reason to get bearish on Bitcoin just yet. Again, I told you guys on my last video that unless we start looking at these lower levels down below into this lower beneath the 6,000, really, if we get into this 55 here at 4,600, then that's when we start to get, maybe switch our mind around it and maybe think that, otherwise. But as of right now, there's no real reason to get too bearish on it. If we do come back and retest the 21, that's still not that's not a end all be all in my eyes. That still would be something that would very much be in the cards, right? To come back and retest the 21 on the monthly. And hopefully, right, so we are about to close this monthly candle here in the next few days. So in the next 3 days. So that'll be, so today's the 20, so 28, 29, 30. So Tuesday we should have a closure of this monthly candle here. Hopefully this will hold, but I do see here there's quite a bit of potential to come back and retest this prior area where this candle is coming in at 7,600. Actually, no, it's just above it. Sorry, it's about 7,700, right? I believe the low of this one is, well, let's just call it here. The low is 77.33 and 99 cents, right? So there's definitely a possibility that we are going to come back and retest that. Whether we close below that, if we do close below that, then, again, it's going to be a hurry up move down to these lower ranges at quite possibly mid to high 6,000. Again, if we do close the monthly below 7,700. All right, so that is definitely something to keep your eyes on. If the monthly close below 7,700, that's, keep a mental note, maybe write it down on a sticky note, put it by your stick it right by your monitor there, or laptop, or wherever you are trading. All right, so yeah, so we should get clarification here at the end of the month in about 4 days or so, 3 days or so. All right. Okay, so let's go back to the lower time frames. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, weekly is finding support at right at the 200. The weekly did finally not just retest the 21, but actually came right down below it. Quickly moved right below it. To be fair, that 21 did have a lot of time to catch up to price action, but then it was easily pierced down into the lower end of 8,000. And again, we're finding support right at the 200 simple there, and the 55 is coming in confluence there. So there's plenty of support where we currently stand, and down below at 7,800. We have found a few bounces off of that area, off of 77, 7,800. And I do think that we should continue for the shorter time of things, continue to bounce around those areas. But again, I do think there is inevitably a dip below that area coming. All right, so keep your eyes peeled on that. All right, let's look at the daily again. As we said, we are dipping more than just a couple of toes into the bearish control zone there. Let's actually get back into the 4-hour. And let's actually stretch out a bit. There we go. Yeah, I mean, it is lower time frames are just giving us a very bearish posture here. Just down below every major moving average. Since we've done the dip here, just being rejected by the 30 here constantly. We did get above it just a few hours ago, earlier today. We did get above the 30 finally, and we seem to be holding. We did close this candle and opened up a new candle above the 30, but we haven't quite gotten up to the point where we're retesting the 21 here. So that's a bit worrisome. I do want to see a test of the 21 again. I do have some sell orders here at starting at 83.50. Not financial advice. You guys can do whatever you want, but I'm just letting you know again what I'm looking for and what I'm doing. I'm not going to get too greedy on this bounce if we do see continuation. As again, I'm doing increments of $75 to $100 above 83.50, all the way to about 8,700. Right where this simple 100 is coming in, this orange brown looking EMA right here. That's going to be the last sell order that might execute. Hopefully, I'm not putting too much weight and too much faith in the fact that we would come back and test this 100 EMA here. I'm not putting too much weight on it. I do think we should find a rejection there. I do think it's still possible to get a bump just above the 21 here and run up a little bit above it, like maybe 85.50, maybe 8600. I do see that could be possible, but again, it might be just a wick above, and then we are certainly going to come back down pretty quickly. As we do see, again, the market's just being really fragile in the last few days, and just not enough buying power coming in to lift the price of Bitcoin at this current moment, and the crypto sphere, the whole entire market as a whole, right? Again, that's just in more indication that we do have more room to the downside. Let's actually look at lower time frames now. Let's look at the 1 hour, see what we're finding there. Rejection off the bullish control zone. Now, we are being rejected by the 55 here, right where the bullish control zone is. So if we do get above the 55 here and have a cross to the upside here on the stochastic RSI, and try to get back above this bullish control area here, there's certainly a significant amount of resistance right at that line, right at the 55. So if we do get above it, I do think, again, we can quite come back and retest about 8,500, 8,600, maybe 8,650. 87 just seems like a far stretch, but let's hope that there is enough fuel in the fire to actually get that done, right? Okay, let's look at the 2 hour. Yeah, 2 hour. I mean, kind of the same thing, right? We are resting below the 30 here, being rejected by the 30 until today. We did get above the 21, which is a good indicator. We had enough fuel in the tank to get above the 21. Will we hold it? We've opened up 1, 2, 3, 4, or what is this? 1, 2, 3 2-hour candles above the simple 100 and the 21 EMA. So, although we are having a cross to the downside here on the RSI and rejected by the bullish control zone here, so the bulls don't really want to get a hold of this of Bitcoin right now, and they're just letting it go. So hopefully, if we don't break below the 21 EMA here, hopefully we don't, and we can actually find more room to the upside. That's on the 2 hour. Let's look at the 3 hour really quick. Rejection by the 21. Yep, rejection by the 21 on the 3 hour. That's really what's calling things right now. So let's pay attention to the 3 hour. The 21 is rejecting the price of Bitcoin here. If we get above the 3 hour is something that I'm going to be looking at, because again, This is the one time frame that is calling the shots right now, having a clear just rejection, test and rejection of the 21. So if we do get above the 21 on the 3 hour, that's what I'm going to be putting a little bit more weight on to see if we do get continuation on this bounce. That's on the shorter term. Again, longer term, let's go back to the daily. Medium term or longer term, as long as we're playing with this area here, with this range between the 200 EMA and this 377 here, as long as we're playing with that range, we are going to have some sort of a falling wedge here, if you will. Let's actually go to the 4 hour so we can paint it a little bit better here. I think I just moved that trend line there, but it's okay. All right, so we have a falling wedge here, falling channel here. So again, this sort of looks bearish to me again. There's immediate resistance coming in here on a downward trend. So that's why I'm very skeptical that we are going to get too far above the 21 here. Right, let's actually go to the 3 hour to have a better look. Yeah, I mean the resistance is coming in right above where we are currently. As we did see earlier, we did get a rejection off of, what was it, about 82.30. What was the high there? 82, yeah, 82.94 actually. Almost 300, almost hit one of our sell orders there at 83.50. So being rejected by the 21 there, that's why I'm saying there's immediate resistance there. So it just seems like a far cry that we actually go up and hit those sell orders up higher. All right, let's go back to the daily, then we'll wrap up Bitcoin. So yeah, as long as we're trading within this range here, we're still okay. But I mean, there's clear governance here by this descending wedge here. Unless we break out of it, then that would mean that this gets invalidated, and we have to figure out what the hell's going on again. But you know, I would like to see this being violated actually, and prove that this resistance is not, you know, it's not providing too much trouble here, and that we can get above it and get some sell orders processed here, which would be great for a lot of us, I know. All right, so that is all I have for Bitcoin. Let's actually get into altcoins. If you guys disagree or have a difference of opinion, definitely leave it down below and we can discuss that. Let's actually talk about Ethereum. Ethereum actually having a better looking bounce than Bitcoin did. And again, this to keep going with that same to the same tune here. We are having quite a bit of a bounce here, and the stochastic RSI is kind of showing that. So there's a little bit more convergence there with the RSI and the price action with Ethereum. So it leads me to have a little bit more faith in the price of Ethereum, that we might actually come back and retest 184, 185 here. We could find continuation, and if we do that, I mean, what's to say that Bitcoin doesn't follow? Because again, Litecoin and Ethereum have led to the upside in recent past history, and so if that happens with Ethereum, then we could definitely say that that maybe Bitcoin will follow in on that as well. All right, so I'm looking for Ethereum and Litecoin to kind of lead the market in the shorter term of things with this bounce. Again, I do want to see continuation to about 170, 185. I'm sorry, with Ethereum, and then also follow up on actually translate over to other alts and also Bitcoin. So that's we're looking like maybe continuation here on the daily. The 4 hour. 4 hour is actually, we closed and opened a new 4 hour here above the 21, which is again a bullish sign, but we are being tamed here by this 100 simple here in orange or brown, however you want to call that. So we are going to have to pump the brakes here a little bit for the time being. Let's look at the 3 hour, see if the 3 hour actually catches it a little bit better. No, 3 hours looking a little bit more bullish than the 4 hour. Maybe that'll translate into the 4 hour. Hopefully, we do have the 121 here coming in right underneath the price action currently. Again, we closed this 4 hour and opened up a new 4 hour on top of it. We could come back and retest the 55 here. So it certainly looks like between 182 and 185 would be a good point if you've entered into Ethereum in these lower ranges here. You could say that a test to the 180, 182, 185 would be some good points of exit there. Not financial advice, but would be some good points to enter in some sell orders at those areas. All right, let's look at the 3 hour we just did. Let's look at the 2 hour. Let's see what the 2 hour is saying. Yeah, again, it's being controlled and tamed by the 55 year EMA at 176. What was the high here? Clear rejection off of 176 and 72 cents right there. So again, if we can get above the 2 hour, above the 55 on the 2 hour, then maybe that hopefully will translate to the 3 hour and the 4 hour. And again, ultimately coming up to retest the simple 200 here, hopefully, but it's too far of a stretch there. Yeah, between 182, we do have the 89 coming in confluence there around 182. So again, that would be looking for some exit or sell orders right between 182 and 185. All right, let's actually look at Litecoin now and start with the daily. Work our way down. Daily is looking weaker than our other two coins. Not really having a bounce, not really following what everybody else is doing. Litecoin is not even coming up, not even having an effort or attempt to retest the 30 here, which is a bad sign. To be fair, it did have sort of a hesitation to the downside, unlike the other coins where everybody just followed in and had that immediate dip to the downside. But again, there seems to be a lack of response on Litecoin's behalf. So to me right now, it just looks like more sideways trading. Maybe lose a little bit of momentum here, as we are seeing currently, and come back and retest quite possibly 52.96, quite possibly there 52, high 52s. We'll call it that. Let's actually come back and revisit the lower time frames. 4 hours being rejected by the 21, and we are above the 30, which it's an indication. It's let's give it some credit. But the 3 hour, same kind of thing, above the 30 but below the 21 and the 100. Not looking so good there. The 2 hour is finding a little bit of support right above these three moving averages: the 30, the 21, and the 100 simple. But not much action after that. So doesn't really look like it wants to even try. And the 1 hour looks like even more convergence there with these 4 moving averages, having the 55 being the area of contention right now, the 55 on the 1 hour. But overall, it just looks really, really weak, really weak. There's no bearish, no bear trap or bearish divergence there either. Okay, so let's move on to Link. Link is having quite a bounce actually. Let's look at the daily real quick. We'll start there. Yeah, we seem to be trading within this channel here. All right, we're trapped within this channel. This could be narrowing down as we do see the 55 here and the 89 coming in confluence here, acting as resistance. But currently on the daily, I mean, we're below the 30 and the 21. Where I do want to see a move up above these two to really get more confident on Link. I did tweet about Tron earlier. It looked like it was going to break out. I think it led the breakout on the alts actually. Oh, well, some alts, because we don't see every alt actually trending to the upside. We'll have to look at the 4 hour to really have a look at this break, sort of a breakout here. Actually, let's look at the 2 hour. Yeah, I mean it was about 7 or 8% up on the day. We did see this move here, having a nice bounce, kind of being the leader of the pack here within the alts, and just having a nice reaction to the bounce here. But it is being rejected again on the 2 hour by the 55. It does look like we actually keep coming back down to the 21 here around 0.013 cents. That looks like it's the more likely scenario here in the immediate time of things. Let's look at the 3 hour. Yeah, 3 hour does again. We do have sort of a shooting star candle here, which would mean correction in the lower time frames. So it does again look like it might want to retest this area here between the 21 and the 30 simple there. So we should have a retracement before we can even say that it has continuation to the upside. It is now being on the 4 hour resting right on top of the 21, but it still hasn't. The stochastic RSI has not crossed to the downside. So 4 hours says that we could have continuation. Although the 3 hour, was it the 3 hour that gave us a shooting star? Yep, shooting star, which would mean reversal, right? But again, these are lower time frames, so a lot of times these things don't play out. So just if you want to keep an eye on trying to see if we do have continuation, not a bad idea. I've actually been keeping my eye on it to see if we do have some continuation there. All right, let's look at EOS. Where are you, EOS? Down here. EOS also did have sort of a bounce. Definitely looked like it wanted to play in that. Looking at, oh gosh, why did I do that? Let's look at daily first. Yeah, daily is looking like sort of like litecoin, not really trying to go to retest that 30. Let's look at the lower time frames. I bet the 3 hour is probably going to show a tighter relationship there. Let's see. Yep, 3 hours just letting us know that it is being rejected by the 100 simple. Actually, it did touch the 100 simple here, and then just being rejected by the 100 simple. Unless we can get, and there's room for it, right? It seems like there's possibility that we can get above this 21 and the 100 simple here. If we do, we could find continuation. There's really EOS is actually looking like a pretty good setup if we do break above the 121. So if anything tonight, keep an eye on EOS. Again, if we break out above 2.86, 2.87, if we break above it, there's plenty of room to go to the upside. Plenty of room. Let's look at the 2 hours, see what's, yeah, that's in confluence. Although I don't like the RSI here, already having a cross to the downside. So let's pay attention to that. The 3 hour is actually not telling us that, so there's some conflicting information there. Let's look at the 1 hour. 1 hour is looking pretty flat. Although, yeah, I mean the green is above the red indicator there on the stochastic. So, I mean it again, if we can get above 287, 286, 287, I think we can say that there could be another a continuation to that breakout. I mean, was it a breakout? You can hardly call it a breakout, but to this bounce, let's just call it a slight bounce. All right. But again, keep in mind, all of these bounces, all of these reactions that you're seeing here in the market currently are going to be short-lived. So don't be greedy with any scalps that you're entering into. If you decide to do that, don't be greedy. These things are probably going to fizzle out pretty soon because, again, there's more room to the downside. Let's actually go back to Bitcoin so we can wrap up this video and again, just give you sort of what we are expecting. Let's look at the daily again so we can have a better look. Let's actually bring this one down a bit. We still want to be able to see it. All right, we do see here we're in the middle of this area between the 0.5 and the 618, and the measured move is telling us we could come back and retest. Could possibly come back and retest 5,500. Whether we get there, I mean, seems even to me seems like a far stretch, but that's the measured move that this whole macro trend was giving us. But I don't know. I don't know if we do get back to 5,500. I'm a bit skeptical. Let's actually try something new while we're at it here. Let's actually try this out. There's a pivot here. Sometimes, right? All right. Okay. Let's actually bring it in a little bit. Okay. All right. So maybe we get picked up. I mean, there's a few days left. I think there's a few more days before the end of the close of this monthly candle, depending on where we close. If we were to get a closure above 8,500 on the monthly, actually, yeah, 8,500 would be a good area, right? However, for this move, if I am going to turn around, I do want to see a close on the monthly here in the next 3 days. I want to see it close above 87.50. That's really where I'm going to kind of put my money on it and bet that this dip is over. Almost. I mean, I might be stepping out on a limb there. I don't think that happens, honestly. I don't think that happens. Will we test it? Well, yeah. I mean, we could come back and retest 87.50. I doubt it, though. But that's, I mean, anything's possible. But if we close above the 87.50 on the 200 daily, then I start to turn around and start thinking that maybe perhaps this dip is over and we're actually coming back to these prices around 9,000, maybe 10,000 again. All right. But currently, yeah, this bottom area of support that's coming from way in the beginning of this macro trend here. Let's see if that holds. Let's see if it holds. I'm going to leave this here for future reference, so you guys will be able to keep up with this as we move forward and as time progresses, and see if this actually acts as also a line of support going forward. Okay. It's just a little thing that we're going to do here to see if that actually ends up playing out, which could potentially have some sort of influence, as we do see here the 0.786 coming in confluence there with this descending line of support, and so we could see that a lot of buying pressure comes in at these ranges around 5,500, which it seems like quite a bit of a stretch. I do think somewhere in between here, between the 618 and the 786, I don't think we come back down all the way to 5,500, 5,400. I don't think we quite make that move. I do think we could potentially see a bounce right in this area. All right, so I'm going to end it here with BNB. BNB is looking pretty much the same as other altcoins. I know Crypto Steve was asking a question on the comments there. I didn't want to leave end this video without answering your question. I do think there is potential for a bounce here, Steve, but there's again, don't be greedy, because this is going to fizzle out quite quickly. Let's actually look at the 4 hour. Yeah, see, I mean, being tamed by the 21. As long as we're below the 21, then I'm not getting too excited about this. Again, on the 3 hour, 2 hour, kind of same thing. Yeah. So if on the 2 hour, if we do get above this area where we're currently trading at, currently trading at around 1550, we get above this pivot here around 1575, $16, then I maybe start looking for a final move to around the 55 here at around 1650. That's where I would exit. That's where I personally would exit. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. And you can always hedge with any sort of stable coin. right? All right. Okay. That's about it, guys. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for joining. Hope you have a great weekend planned out. Hope you enjoy it. And I also hope that you got something in return for your time here. Let me know what's going on with you guys. If you guys agree with me or have a different trading strategy, leave it down in the comments. Would love to chat with you guys. Also, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you do get notified whenever I put these videos and updates out. All right, guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great weekend. Good night.